All right. So our first item is a PSA, as we like to do sometimes. We got some PSAs for people,
Hmm.
and the PSA was going to be SpeedyBee is not compatible with Betaflight 4.3. We were going to remind people of that and make sure they didn't mess anything up on their configs. But now the PSA is update your SpeedyBee. Make sure your SpeedyBee is up to date, as it is now compatible with 4.3 RC1 at least, is what they
Hmm.
listed in the last notes. So.
Yeah. And it's a lot. So in case you don't know, SpeedyBee is an app on your phone that lets you configure your flight controller. You can plug in USB, you can use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. It's really handy. And I've been, I don't know if I'm surprised, but I've noticed there are plenty of people out there in the world who just don't have a computer, for one reason or another. And they use SpeedyBee to configure their quads. And that's just how they build quads. Well, Betaflight 4.3 has been in pre-release. It hasn't been released. And there are people, like literally, if you plug SpeedyBee into your flight controller and connect, not make any changes, not save any changes, it borks your config to the point where I know at least one person who fried their motors. It just like messed with the filters. And then they went to fly and then just smoked motors. So the PSA was, as you said, don't use SpeedyBee with Betaflight 4.3, but they've updated it. And now it is, but you would need to be on the latest version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so keep it updated. Make sure you're updated. And also read those notes. If you ever have any question about that, you can always go in the app, and there's always update notes in there. You can figure out what it supports. So
yeah. Mouse FPV in the chat says, I would never trust my quad to a third-party configurator. That's, in a case like this where you're running nightly builds, that makes sense, yeah? We should point out, there is I think there is a version of the actual Betaflight configurator available on Android.
Yeah,
like an official version.
Yeah, I don't think it's in the Play Store, but every release of Betaflight has an APK in the releases that you can use.
So. Yeah, I was about to say, why don't people just use that? And you just told me the answer. So you have to sideload it, which is a little annoying. I mean, I'm not trying to stir up drama, but especially since tonight has only a few stories, there are people who are annoyed at RunCam for SpeedyBee is RunCam. I always get them mixed up. They're like, they're suggesting that there are some kind of open source foibles going on, that they shouldn't be releasing this, or I don't know exactly what the objection is, but that they don't like that they've just built this app without sort of the participation of the Betaflight project. But I'm not sure. I don't know why people are mad about that, actually. Now that I think
GPL, they can do what they want, right? I think.
Well, as
long as they're giving like public source of it.
Have they released? I don't think they've released their source, I think is the objection. And I think there may be some suspicion that they are including GPL code. I don't know, though. I don't know. Anyway, I use SpeedyBee app. I'm not sideload. I mean, not that I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of sideloading. I can sideload. I can sideload whenever I want to. I find it annoying. I'd rather just use an App Store app. All right. Fair enough. Moving on to the next story of the evening. And the biggest, probably one of the biggest stories we're going to be covering, Orca went to CES and showed us some things. Not as much as we might have hoped, but